From Union City, New Jersey, to my alma mater, Penn State, where he was an all Big Ten offensive lineman and a Big Ten champion. Now an offensive captain in his second year as a St. Louis Battlehawk. Welcome to Springball Boulevard, Steven Gonzalez. Thanks for joining us today, man.
Thanks, Maddie. Thanks for having me. Appreciate y'all for having me on, man. Always love having an opportunity to chat with y'all for sure.
Yeah, you are our first ever guest, so give it up to you for Springball Boulevard. We're
I
back.
remember that.
We're back for season two. I
Yeah,
was telling you earlier, I would have liked to get you after a win, but that's okay because we're behind it. We got positive vibes coming up this week, and spring
no doubt.
football in general has really been good to you. All XFL last year. You're named a team captain this season, a fan favorite in St. Louis. What has worked for you in this last year and a half of your football career?
I just think my experience, just from what I gained, my time with the Cardinals, Bills, just bouncing around different NFL teams, my time at Penn State. Honestly, all that has just kind of culminated, and I feel like I've matured in the football field, and I think I'm just becoming one of those experienced older guys. I was actually captain last year as well, with AJ as well and some other guys, but they just didn't announce it. But, honestly, it's an honor being a two-time captain. I'm honestly blessed. I was never a captain in college, game captain and things like that, but nothing like, being a team captain and being, one of the guys that they rely on. I'm a leader. I'm one of the guys, that has, they're looking forward to step up every time they need a play made, especially on the offensive line. If they need someone to pick the offense up, pick the O line up. So honestly, to have that responsibility is a lot. But I think I'm definitely built for it. I'm ready for it. And I've accepted it. And I knew it from day one. When I was coming back, I was like, I'm going to have to be the leader of the O line, going to have to, make sure the guys are straight, make sure the offense is running straight, and O line goes as we go. So it starts with me, and yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of responsibility, but super excited, super blessed, just happy to be here in year two. Things just honestly have been working out for me, and I can't complain. I'm just all glory to God for that one.
Absolutely making Penn State and Coach James Franklin proud for sure, man. It's been a
No
pleasure
doubt.
to watch you. And getting into this week a little bit, I can imagine that a loss like that and the way it happens really stung and kind of shocked that sideline in the moment because you guys were on the other side of that last year against San Antonio, against Seattle. I think you had an overtime game against Vegas that was decided on the final play. So, what did you learn about your team Saturday afternoon, and what adjustments does that translate to from week one into week two?
You know what? What we learned is that, we're just fighters at the end of the day. I mean, we knew that from, the San Antonio game last year, Seattle game last year, overtime in Vegas. Like, we just, especially as like an offense, but as a team and whole, like, we're just scrappy. We fight. We're, even if the situation seems like it's, we're down and out, like, even in that game, we were down 9-15 with not that much time left, and we still converted a 4th and 10, converted fourth and something, a 4th and 5, I believe, and we're able to score and go up by one, and the guy just hit a hell of a field goal, and just it sucks to lose like that, but we know that we have a resilient group. We know that we have an experienced group, a bunch of leaders on our team. Obviously, starts with AJ. But we have PETA, we have Travis Feeney, like we have a whole bunch of just experienced guys that have been through this, have been through many, a lot of football. They've played a lot of football, so they just know how to handle it and handle a loss and just move on. We got to learn from it. There was mistakes that we made that we needed to learn from, and I feel like we've learned from it. We've come out, we've had a good week of practice, and we just hope that it all comes together on Saturday. But I definitely think that this group is super resilient. I mean, I said it after, we beat Seattle week two. I was like, I already knew. Or from week two from last year, like, I already knew this group was resilient. For us to do 2 2-minute drives in back-to-back weeks is, pretty hard to do. And so, yeah, I mean, I think we're a resilient group. You'll see it on Saturday. And yeah, I mean, that's just pretty much sum it up.
Yeah, AJ definitely thrives with the game on the line, and I'm sure there's been times where you look back, you get off a block, and you're like, how do you end up over there? Like he just ran 40 yards across the field to find Darius Shepard. But that takes us into
It gets a little
yeah. Go
it,
ahead.
it gets a little scary when he's running around back there. You don't know where he's at. You don't know what he's deciding what he wants to do. So, especially on that one play, we had a block for like 20 seconds. There was one play towards the end that we were blocking for like 20 seconds. And then he just happened to find someone like for a first down. I was like, oh, well, all right.
That's it.
So he just makes plays happen. What our mindset is just protect as long as we have to and until we hear the whistle, honestly.
Yeah, so that takes us into Arlington. Same defensive coordinator over there, and I think they have like 7 or 8 core guys back on that defense from the championship squad. They have a really solid group of linebackers, pretty good front seven, but they struggled a bit last week against Birmingham. Since there's more tape available now on this Arlington defense than you guys had on Michigan, what becomes the focus this week offensively?
Run the ball for sure. Run the ball, set the tone. Obviously we're gonna throw the ball a lot. We have AJ at quarterback. He's gonna make his adjustments. He's gonna have his RPOs. So we're always gonna have our options to throw. And we always do throw a lot. So that part of the aspect won't be taken out, but definitely starting fast has been a big aspect this week. Starting fast on offense, especially. And then just running the ball, setting the tempo, honestly, setting the tempo from the start of the game. If we're able to run the ball and we're able to gash them, even if it's for 8, 5, 6, and we're just doing a little at a time, it'll eventually open up. It'll start becoming 10, 15, 20, and so on and so forth. So I think that's honestly our biggest emphasis this week was developing our run game, making sure that we're ready to go to run the ball, and then, just to firm up and stay sturdy in pass protection and just communicate and stay on the same page. And even if things don't go right, just move on. Next play, you got to have a next play mentality, even if you do bad, good, no matter what the play was before, just move on to the next one, communicate with your guys, make sure we're all on the same page and get ready to go for the next snap.
Yeah, obviously you guys are a pass-first offense, but definitely with the run game, Birmingham rushed for 183 yards on Arlington and 5.1 a carry. So definitely an opportunity in the run game there. You played in the greatest environment in college sports in Happy Valley, so you know
Yeah.
about true home field advantage. And this is a hungry crowd in St. Louis. They haven't been back in almost a full year now, and that ticket map online is looking promising. I took a look at it today, and I was shocked with the amount of tickets that are sold. What are you personally expecting Saturday night?
I'm hoping for like 40,000 plus or 45,000 plus. I'm hoping 45, honestly. That would be pretty cool. But definitely I'm expecting 40,000 for sure. Like more than 40,000, I think. Even last year, the record high was 38 for all of XFL, all spring leagues. It was 38,000. So we were only a couple thousand people off. Like I think St. Louis will come out strong for the first game, even though we lost that first game. They know, we're a resilient group. They know we're going to fight through it. Coach Becca is going to steer the ship right. We're going to be okay. We got leaders on our team. So, they know we're going to, we need their support. We need them out there on the field because honestly, they're a huge help. They really are. That third down, it gets loud in the dome. So I think they'll show up. I think they'll be loud. They're going to be passionate. Like you said, they lost football with the Rams. So, when football season comes around, when spring football comes around, those Battlehawks are here in town. They get rowdy, they get crazy. So I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to go back to the dome. It's a fun place to be, honestly.
Yeah, really cool to see you guys have a home game in prime time as well. I'm curious, how do
Yeah.
things change for you, Steven, when you're coming from Penn State and we know how it is there on the week of a home game. You're literally on campus with students, you're downtown, you can feel the buzz in the air. You can see the stadium from practice every day. You wake up Saturday morning, you're at the team hotel, like that's your home, like you're there.
Yeah.
When how does that kind of translate? How do you guys embrace St. Louis as your real home and kind of plant your flag and get into that mentality of, hey, even though we prepped in Texas all week, we're here, this is our city. And even though we're coming from the same place, Arlington is still visiting us.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little weird to get used to, but honestly, once you're in St. Louis, you just feel at home. Honestly, all the fans, they see us in our gear, they know us, they say hi to us, they want us to take pictures, have autographs. Like we honestly, it feels like we're wanted out there. Like even like we went to Michigan and I didn't see many Michigan Panthers fans or things like that. Like not a knock to them, but like you know, St. Louis has just a different drive, a different passion. Same as DC. DC fans, I saw, a couple of people wearing like you wearing the hat now. Like I saw people doing that too when I was over there in
Oh yeah.
DC last year. So, just different drive, different passion. And they embrace us, so we have to embrace them. We want to embrace them. We want to be their team. We want to represent them. It's an honor to represent St. Louis because like you said, they deserve an NFL team. They're an NFL city. They deserve it. They come out every home game and they're very passionate. So, we just try to show up and show out for them and represent the city as best we can.
Yeah, and great conversations at the kickoff game in Arlington over the weekend with some of the league executives, namely Russ Brandon, who was talking about how he's already underway for 2025 and the full planning of the season, and they weren't that far along last year. So when we talk about potentially one day getting into St. Louis, having a front office, having the team there during the week like a real professional environment, looks very promising for the future of spring football. We have to do what we have to do now, and that includes cutting costs and having a centralized hub and making things a lot more efficient. But in the future, they can absolutely get back to that front office type of deal.
Yeah, exactly. And that's honestly, I think that's where their mindset's at. That's where they're planning to, eventually lead to. I just think for now they need to build up in Arlington, but eventually they want people to be in their own fan base. They want to eventually be able to franchise these teams and, have owners and have all these things. So I think those are the plans for the future for sure. I can't, I'm not in those executive offices, so I can't really say too much. I don't really know anything. But just from what I can assume that they do want to do that. They want to have these players be in the cities, build relationship with the fans, build relationship with the city, do community outreach events. Like, I just think now that we're merged, we have more access to do that. And yeah, it's exciting to see what the future holds in that regards. But it would be pretty cool if we can, be in St. Louis there, pretty much full time, kind of like an NFL team would be, professional team would be.
Yeah, last one, and then I'll let you go. You bring up the merge. I kind of had a question about that. In your evaluation coming back for year two, you've been going against your own defense in camp, which added new pieces. You guys scrimmaged Birmingham in camp. You played Michigan last week. How much better, in your opinion, did the defenses get in this league post merge? And does it feel like a step up in competition from last year?
Definitely, definitely. There's definitely been a step up from the competition. I mean, you got to think about it. All the USFL and XFL teams that got disbanded, all their best players went to other teams. So, like for example, us, we got XFL Defense Player of the Year, PETA, and so to have you just add pieces like that. We got we got Jacor Pearson on offense, like what I mean, like just different pieces. I know it's defense and offense a little bit different, but what I'm saying is that the talent is getting dispersed throughout the league. I mean, just DC alone, their defense is hugely revamped just on the D line. I mean, you guys got Trent Harris, you got TJ Barnes, like you guys got dudes there. Like you had dudes there last year, now you have dudes there now. So honestly, like I think the defenses have gotten a lot better. On paper, they look a lot better. Last year there was guys we didn't even really have scouting reports for because we never seen them play or we didn't have film on them. So like now this year you have guys that and like guys that have been in the league, in and out of the league, in multiple spring ball leagues, AAF, XFL 2020, USFL 2 years ago, like bouncing around everywhere. So honestly, it's a lot. And these defenses are going to bring the best that they got every week. They're playing for jobs as well. So it's going to be a challenge. It's definitely going to be a challenge. It was a challenge last week. It's going to be a challenge this week, and it'll be a challenge for the rest of the year. But honestly, as an offensive lineman that wants to be in the NFL, that is striving to be there, like I think this is the league you need to be in if you want to get there because you're going to face the best talent every week. Like you're going to face guys that are on that cusp, like on that margin right there where you're close to being in the NFL. So It's definitely been a step up from last year, but it's an exciting challenge. Happy for it. Happy we get better, and to improve every week. So that's definitely it's been a positive for the league, I think, for sure.
Yeah, we're still early on and got a season to play, but I cannot wait to see how many guys come out of this thing to NFL camps. I mean, I think it's going to be a staggering number that really puts you guys
Yeah,
on the map, and I think Russ Brandon, the president, is setting up for that. And it's interesting, a lot of teams with their own identity. Defensively, you guys take a lot of guys from Seattle. I'm seeing Chris Payton Jones out there. Quinterio Cole gets a pick last week, and how good both those teams and how competitive they were last year. Now they kind of merged together on the
yeah,
defensive side of the ball. You have Birmingham, who just goes out and gets everybody that was fringe NFL. You have San Antonio, who goes out and takes Houston's entire defense and staff. So these are all like all-star teams to me, and I think right
yeah,
right now, like through week one, it just feels like there's going to be a bunch of teams in that group to battle for that second place spot, and it's going to
yeah.
be every single game matters. Where I think we both know last year in the XFL there was a separation of tiers where it was kind of the good teams and the bottom, and you kind of knew each week who to expect to win. Where this year it's literally all up in the air, and it's great football coming down to the very end.
Yeah, and I just think it's good for the league in general. You're just going to get good football every week. Like, you're not going to get, a shitty game where you're bored and you don't want to watch these two teams because they're just not that talented. Like, no, you're going to get a good game every week, and I think the offenses will get better. It's easier for the defenses to start better because the offense just even though you have training camp, like it's a little bit shorter of a training camp. You don't really have an off season either where you're doing spring practices. So it takes a little time to kind of warm up, and especially with new pieces and things like that. So I think in the next coming weeks, you'll start seeing these offenses start really letting it loose. And, I think more points will be scored in this league because I think the offenses are very improved as well, honestly.
Yeah,
So,
kind of treating week one as kind of a glorified preseason, knowing yes, the game counts, of course it matters just as much as the others,
yeah.
but it was a short training camp for you guys and adding a lot of new pieces and kind of getting your identity week two. And yeah, you talk about the excitement level of the games, like, you know, for your sake, I'm hoping it's a little more comfortable this week, but I know if there's 2 minutes left and the ball's in AJ's hands, that's almost exactly where he wants to be, right? That's where he
Yeah.
thrives. And I know it can
That's
be
where
stressful.
that's where we all want to be. Honestly, that's where we all want to be. I mean,
Yeah.
like even I'm used to it too. At Penn State, we always ran 2 minute drills to start practice every Tuesday. Every Tuesday practice in the season, there was a 2 minute drill to start the practice. So
Right.
for me, like, and the other guys too, I mean, we're used to it. We're like I said, resilient group. AJ wants that ball with his hands in 2 minutes. So like I said, these offenses are just going to look good. We're going to be solid as the weeks go on, and like I said, everyone's going to improve from this league. There's just a lot of beneficiary things from this league, and it's honestly been a good ride so far. But like I said, I'm excited to get to St. Louis this week.
Yeah.
That's really what I'm looking forward to.
That is Steven Gonzalez. Appreciate your time, man. If you're in St. Louis this week, give him a shout. Number 74. You already know who he is, repping as a team captain on this one. As St. Louis home opener, he's saying 45K. Let's go, right? Why not? Why not
Oh,
45K?
let's do it.
Appreciate you, Steven. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks, Maddie. Appreciate you again, man, for having me on.